Hey my friends, I would like to continue on designing of the Vulteran and Tharkan warriors. I will talk about inspiration, alt illustration, designs of these characters, and let's get a little bit back. Last time I talked about Vulteran army and how I would like to for them use triple axis, triple formation, triple lines, and each line would consist of one of type of warrior. So I decide with help of my friends and based on your feedbacks for these three warriors. And let me show you. Vulterans are basically a cluster of city-states ruled from Vultera, but they are basically ruled by oligarchy, which is when most wealthy citizens have power over the city. And in the Akvila Conquest, which is story I am working right now, set some 200 or 500 BC. I didn't decide yet how much it happened during between these two stories. And during Akvila Conquest, Vultera is ruled by tyrant, which he usurped his power over the Vultera. And so in these three lines, I thought it would be nice. The first line would consist the militia of citizens of Vulteran city-states or colonies. In the second line could be more heavily armed warriors with lamellar armor. In the first line, it would have musculata or muscle armor with long spears, and in the second line with short swords, but they also would use spears or throwing javelins. I didn't decide yet, but you can see they have also some kind of mace on the waist. And third line would be consisted from elite Vulteran Sun Guard, because of course they worship sun, and this is their main religion. So you can see on the design there are several sun symbols on his linothorax and on his greaves, on his shield, on his helmet. The feathers would be like sun rays, and I think it will be very nice if they use round shield, because also sun is in the shape of circle, and they could have circle shield. It would make some nice design. And they also fought in some kind of shock infantry tactics with throwing javelins and so on, and basically fighting in closed quarters with swords and axes. The design I would like to talk about mostly today is Tharkan warrior, because from last video or lore you can read or see on my videos. You maybe know the Tharkans fought against the Vultera during the Akvila campaign. This is the main point of the story, which culminates in Battle of Vultera. It's crucial to design these two warriors, Vulteran army and Tharkan army. I will show you. Okay, just for clarification, on the left side there are references images, and on the right side there are my old illustrations in some kind of chronological order, and I will talk about them each separately. So let's begin with references. This is most important picture I have for my world, for my unknown world, because this picture basically inspired me for a whole story. I was looking for some ideas how to portray Tharkan civilization, and you can immediately see the eagle wings on the helmet. Made whole lore, whole story about the white eagle and how it became the symbol of Tharkan Empire, and eagle motifs. Same as for the Vulterans, they used sun, so Tharkans used eagle. So let's talk about this image a little bit more. This is very interesting set of armor, because it's basically combination of several influences. The helmet is probably used by Italic tribes, and for example, some knights they used helmet with wings, and you can see it on the left side. And it's interesting see these from this plume or crest or how it's called, because it's similar to fish fin, which could work good with Atlantean warriors, because they have some sea motifs on their armor. But back to this armor. Like I said, it was Italian type of helmet with wings, and this shoulder collar, shoulder armor was used probably by Scythians, which is some pretty much far from Italy. They probably wasn't in the contact in that era. And this gear have also chainmail, which is Celtic invention, and a broad belt, which was also used by Scythians or Thracians. And you can guess to which civilization used this type of armor, because it's combination of several influences. And I talk about it with my friends who do reenactment, living history, and they are students of history. They basically confirmed me my idea. This was Thracian armor, which feels a little bit weird. I will show you some illustration how Scythians and Thracians look like. So basically, this is very interesting for me and very important part of my world building. These are four civilization I try to combine into one fantasy civilization, the Tharkans. Tharkans are basically mix of four civilization. First one was Scythians. You can see them here. By the way, all illustrations are by Angus McBride, which is my favorite illustrator. So here is Scythian cavalryman, and I would like my Tharkan warriors look like basically like Scythian heavy cavalry. Nothing much to say, especially this dude on the left side. I can see it straight into my world. Maybe with a different helmet with wings, and that's all. On the bottom there are Thracians with their classic Pelta shield. They were called Peltasts, named after that shield. And sorry, I must laugh because I think that shield look like a face, a happy face, and that crack me up a little bit right now. So yeah, some parts of these warriors I would like to implement into my design. So basically, what is my inspiration? The Scythians with scale armor and on the horses, the Peltas with Pelta shield, this cutout or curved shield. Here are some more Scythians in different armor. Most importantly, the Iberian warriors. You can see description here, Iberian warrior, late 2nd BC. And accidentally, I have a book about Roman military, which features this illustration. In the book, it said these are Iberian mercenaries in the service of Roman legions during Punic Wars. And I very much like her scale armor. Scale armor is, of course, one of my favorite armor type. And they are chainmail skirt. And on the horse, on the background, you can see horse have chainmail armor, which is interesting because I didn't see any more illustrations and descriptions about Iberians using chainmail on horses. But Angus McBride was always on point with his historical illustrations, and if he did it, it's maybe it's true. Maybe it was like this. And I talked last time about using iron in my world, and if you can see, during the rise of the Atlanteans, which is first story of my Unknown World, they are basically using all bronze. They have bronze weapons, and I would like to gradually shift from bronze to iron, like it happened in our history. But I thought it's early to use chainmail, so we put heads together and came with something that could work. Shout out to Tim. Thank you, my friend, for your feedbacks. You always push my designs to next level. And I thought how to explain use of iron in age that happened pretty much fast after the rise of the Atlanteans, because like I said, there were like 200 years or 500 years, and that's very short time for these technological innovations. And I have some explanations, but I will write it in the post on Patreon. And why I'm talking about it, because I want to portray the Tharkans in this type of armor. But the chainmail is, I think, pretty soon, pretty early to use after this last story which happened in the Bronze Age. And I thought how to combine it, and so I dig up some information about iron. And interestingly, you can mine or harvest iron two ways. One is on the surface, which is called something like swamp iron. You can harvest it from rivers. And another type, which is better to make some shaft and dig deeper into the ground or mountains and mine it there. So I came with the idea that some civilization could use iron in this age. I thought Almarans living in Almarian forest, which are basically my fantasy Celts, and they came up with chainmail historically, and it was in 4th century Sea and basically spread out into Mediterranean Sea and used by Romans, Greeks, Macedonians, and in Carthage and Iberia and other nations. Last time I talked about Akvila Conquest is a little bit something like Punic Wars era with war between between Rome and Carthage, and I take this inspiration just for general feeling like all these nations fought in the Punic Wars. There were several civilizations, and during Akvila Conquest in my story there are also several civilizations that fought at the Battle of Vultera. And on one side there were Vulterans and with Silurian mercenaries, and on the other side there were Tharkans, of course, with Almaran allies and Rians, and there were some mercenaries from Nari, and Argos stayed neutral, but from some lore you maybe know Argos was built by exiled Vulteran colonists, and I talk about this in the Rise of the Atlantean story. So just to summarize this, so here are Vulteran warriors, here are some references, and also I am big fan of Iberian or even Greek sword, which is called Falcata or Kopis, and this sword is basically ancestor of Roman gladius Hispaniensis, because it came from Hispania, which was basically Iberian origin. And this sword is called Romphaia, which is Thracian origin, and you surely know the Roman Emperor Trajan or Trajan, I don't know how to pronounce it in English properly, fought in the Dacian Wars, and Dacians basically used this sword in mass. It was called Falx, and Romphaia is basically shorter version of Falx, and Falx was used by gladiators, which was called Sika. It was, after all, just curved one-edged sword, and Roman legions need to adapt their armor because it had such a destruction power that could basically cut through armor and helmets. So we know inspiration, and let's talk about these character designs of Tharkan warriors. So here are the oldest character designs I did for Tharkan warriors, Tharkan army, and just comparison. You can see Vulterans on the left side. Here are with arrow in the breastplate is Vulteran Tyrant, which I mentioned at the beginning of the video, and here is Sun Guard and Vulteran Infantry, and on the right side there are Vulteran warriors. One is line infantry with pelta shield and with war mace or war axe, pickaxe, whatever it's called. And here is Tharkan Eagle Guard, which is like, I don't know how to say it, antagonist of Vulteran Sun Guard. And Tharkan heavy cavalry with belt on the horse, which is Ibis, which is mountain cat, and I brought the entire lore how these warriors get to these belts, and here is some work in progress of Battle of Vultera. Vulterans on the left in the red and Tharkans on the right in the blue, because I still think about my world like some kind of RTS game, and of course in RTS games you have colors to distinguish players from each other. So these are the oldest designs I did for Tharkans, and on the right side there is famous Thark Akvila, which is main hero in quotes of Akvila Conquest. And this is first ever illustration of Tharkan warriors. It was back in 2022, I think, and you can see I work with eagle motifs. You can see shield in the shape of a wing with some ornaments and eagle wings on the helmets and so on. So it was pretty much very early into development, and I work with some kind of light cavalry with throwing javelins and heavier warriors, basically based. If you watch closely, you can see this scale armor inspired by Iberians. This is basically it, and I would like to keep it. And also, through lore, the Atlanteans used a lot of fish scale armor, and Tharkan basically get inspired by them, so they also used scale armor. So here is another take on Thark Akvila. He's basically pretty much old, and he have this eagle helmet, which is basically heirloom of Tharkan family, which appeared in later stories. And you can see I try to show some eagle motifs on his greaves and this I don't know how to call it, this armor skirt. You can see Scythian belt and this collar or shoulder armor. This is basically it. Here is Tharkan shock infantry. I just derived from his original designs, and I work with some leather boots and leather gloves. I thought they could use some mobility and protection, and these kind of leather armor could work. But I think you can see on the Eagle Guard, which is probably one of my favorite design. He have some kind of leather boots, but you can see it was originally some like protection in bronze. You can see it by its shape, and it's basically he have basically hoplite shield, just a little bit cut out, and I think they could use some little bit different variation on this shield, like you can see, or this late Tharkan warrior. I will get back to it later. So this is warriors during Akvila Conquest, Tharkan warriors. On the right side it's heavy cavalry, elite Eagle Guard, shock infantry, Thark Akvila, maybe some kind of early type of Tharkan warriors, which I redesigned later. It was meant for maybe for Atlantean invasion, Rise of the Atlanteans. So in this, here are some later Tharkan warriors, and you can see this is the inspiration I talked about at the beginning. You can see the chainmail, the collar, the helmet with wings, and Falcata sword, and I basically wanted them to look like this, but since I move this story into the Bronze Age, so chainmail or using iron didn't make sense. I don't know if I talk about the iron topic because I edited this video or narrated more times, so maybe I cut it together. So here is, I'm sorry, my cat once again making noises, and this is a late Tharkan warrior during another story, Great Flood, which happens much later in the history of Unknown World. And I also work with this type of late Tharkan warrior, some kind of Byzantine influence with kite shield and lameral armor. And I never come back to this design. I just try to redesign it. Here is the same warrior from the Terra, but in different design. And you can see I still trying to combine Delta shield, which is this cutout shield, in chainmail and broad belt and gloves and collar on his dress and stuff like that. You can also see eagle motifs, eagle scales, eagle feathers, I could say, made from metal, and pommel on the sword in the shape of eagle. So this is basically evolution of Tharkan warriors, and I will show you some more pictures. I try to do this with some background just for, I don't know, I'm testing and trying and some stuff every time. So on the left side, this is pretty much Tharkan warrior I have envisioned during Akvila Conquest, but later I changed it a little bit. I will show you how. In the middle picture, this is another take on same warrior, but a little bit different design, and of course Tharkan cavalry. And when I started working on Rise of the Atlanteans, which happened before Akvila Conquest, I thought I need to change the appearance of Tharkan warriors to make them more, let's say, barbaric or early looking warriors, but I keep key elements just in order. You can see Delta shield, scale armor, little bit different helmet, and Falcata sword, throwing javelins, because Tharkans basically fought in the style of peltasts, like the Thracian warriors, but they are more heavier. And this is final illustration of Tharkan warrior during Atlantean invasion from the story Rise of the Atlanteans. And this is basically Iberian helmet with some ornaments that were used on the helmets by Scythians. I will show you. These are some ram horns on the helmet, and I don't know if I have any Iberian helmet here. I don't have it. Nevertheless, this is basically a mix of two helmets with feathers like on Roman helmets. And this warrior carries war axe and straight sword and pelta shield on the back and some goat or ram belt under the armor, and this warrior already have some scale armor, which he maybe stole from Atlanteans or try to forge like the Atlantean counterparts. At some point of the development, I thought Tharkans would have two types of cavalry. On the left side, this is some light cavalry, pretty much inspired by Scythians, and on the right side, there's the famous heavy cavalry. One important note is that before Atlantean invasion, there were no horses in Unknown World, basically ancestors of people in Central Continent, main part of the world. Basically hunt down all wild horses and never used them. Certainly not in the war. And when Atlanteans arrived, they rode majestic white horses, and after their defeat, basically some of the civilizations captured these horses and tried to breed them, and stuff like this make happen that the Tharkans start using horses. Only nation that used horses at the time was Tengri, which is basically my fantasy Huns or Mongols or some kind of Turkic people, and nomadic people, they use horses. This will be topic for another time. I just want to show you can see this Rian warrior. He is holding Romphaia, that curved sword used by historical Dacians, and this is a new thing I'm working right now. I thought Vulterans are using Falcata swords, these curved swords. You can see them here, or a straight sword, maybe a little bit more longer. This is just some kind of dagger, and I thought Vulterans could use. Tharkans could use this Romphaia sword instead of Falcata, because I always portrayed them with Falcata sword, and they maybe use it because their king, Thark Akvila, has a daughter which she was born as Rian, and Rians fought on the Tharkan side during the Atlantean invasion and also during the campaign against the Vultera. So maybe Tharkans could use some of their designs. I think, or my thoughts about it, just like when Romans used gear from other civilizations, they used scutum shields from Etruscans and swords from Iberians and chainmail from Celts, and during the Roman kingdom they also fought in the phalanx formation like Greek colonists in Italy. So the Tharkans could use some of the mixture of maybe some Almaran influence and Rian influence. They are basically very much similar civilizations or barbarian tribes that have same origin, but did branch out during the evolution, or how to say it. And also I thought some of the Tharkans could use some parts, some elements from Nari. These two civilization trades together, they are basically friends, and when I wrote recently some lore, I was writing about Tharkans using cutout shields like the Nari used. Maybe this will probably change, like many things happened in world building and character designs. These are just ideas I am working right now. And last picture I want to talk about is, is the man himself, the Thark Akvila. This is a new illustration of this character, and it's basically a redesign of this oldest illustration. You can also see how much I have improved since I started working on this project. So there is like 3 years apart, but it's mainly because it's combination of testing some stuff and try and errors and using references properly and different art approach and some skills. Let's be honest, I wouldn't make it just from the head. I need to use some references like for the faces. This is, by the way, my hand, not exactly my hand, but I need to take a picture of how the hand could look like while holding helmet, and I was basically posing with pillow instead of helmet and took a picture and redraw it and stuff like that. I'm still working on the design of the helmet, which, as I mentioned earlier, is very important part of the story. This helmet much later found its home in Siluria during Godfrey's rebellion, which happens like 1000 years after the Akvila story. And this is basically it. I am still not sure if I talk about the use of iron, which was mainly the topic I want to talk about, but I got lost in thoughts, and it's still very difficult for me to speak in English, as you can see. One last thing, I will redesign once again this warrior, and I would like to show you how I could imagine him right now. I will make a copy of this picture. Let's pick a color and let's make it a little bit brighter. So I would like to. This warrior used Romphaia sword, so I will show you like how it could look like. Yes, I duplicated, but just in the case, this could be have some Romphaia sword. I would like he had the scale color on his shoulders. God damn it, I'm in different layer as always. This happens too often. Here it is. He has some shoulder armor. You can see it's almost touch his belly, but I think it could have been smaller, just cover his shoulders, or he could have it only on one shoulder. And that's the question, which one, because right side is covered by shield and left side is the hand that holding a weapon, so it's maybe exposed by some attacks. So he could have one shoulder with scales, or he could have it on the other side. Transform. I don't see what I was looking for. Or did I? Or right shoulder. You get the point. So this is one idea. And if I didn't talk about the iron topic, I just would like to tell you he could have not entire iron armor and only iron weapons, maybe just sword or this war pickaxe, Or this is basically it. I designed him chainmail skirt. I talked about it last time, but I think it would be nice use them a little bit later. Just during the Battle of Vultera, they would have still this kind of scale armor, but there is one part of lore I didn't talk about, which what happened after the Akvila Conquest. Basically, Thark Akvila died, and civil war broke out between the brothers, the sons of Akvila, and they fought Tharkans against Tharkans. And I thought it would be nice if some of the faction of Akvila sons could use chainmail armor and other scale armor. It would be nice differential between these two nations, two factions fighting against each other, like red and blue Vulterans and Tharkans. These would have scales and other chainmail. I can't explain it, but I'm sure you understand me in this topic. So that's it, and this basically all things I want to show you and talk about, and I hope it gives you some general idea how I think about this new character, and I hope I will improve in the next video, and I will talk about more designs and more character designs and illustrations and everything and lore and more. So thanks for watching, and let me know your thoughts as always, because your ideas helps me extremely with creating this world, and I mean it. Thank you, and see you guys later.